All right, so it is about 10 a.m. and we just got out here. We're running the Sugar Hollow Loop. It's about 17 and a half miles, 3,500 feet of gain. So a good training day run, but man, these views are epic.
Sounds great.
That right there means we're on the Appalachian Trail now.
Sounds great.
We are quickly finding out there are a lot of spider webs out here. The cat just took one to the face. I've taken a couple. We're just making friends. We just hit a pretty good bit of climb here, but that brings me back to the point earlier that there was like 3,500 feet of climb over the 17 miles. The reason we picked this trail is because it's very similar to what we'll experience during race day. Cloudsplitter over the course of 100K has 16,000 feet of gain. So pretty on par coming out here and running this trail because it shares a lot of the similar personality traits of what we'll experience at Cloudsplitter. Unreal single track. Look at this. Trail runner's dream right here.
Sounds great.
We have been climbing for a while now. The climb started at like mile 2.5. We're at mile like 6, I think, and we're still going uphill. So it seems like we're gonna knock out most of the elevation in the first half of this run. It's definitely a test on the legs. Coming from Richmond where it's super flat, minus a couple little trails here and there down by the river. This is great race day prep. Certainly needed, especially with the vest loaded all the way down for that extra weight, but trudging right along.
I'm gonna think, oh no!
Goo down. They're good.
I'm just covered in sweat and bugs and... This is just salt and sweat just running into my shoes.
Yum.
I'm learning things. Hiking uphill makes me feel real unfit, but flats and downhills feel really, really good. We've had a little lack of confidence about my race just because I've been running so much flat and then the same trail loop over and over again. Shout out to the Norton buttermilk, but doesn't have the climbing, doesn't really have the technical terrain. So getting my feet wet with that today, kind of literally with the water crossings. But overall, feeling good towards this race. I'm just trying to build confidence in terrain, store things away for how it's going to feel on race day, and get really comfortable with all the things that will go wrong.
Mind you, we are doing this on a Monday. Saturdays are pretty big days for both of us as well. Kat had 22 miles on Saturday on the North Bank, Buttermilk, and I had a 100K bike ride with some intervals and a couple miles of running myself. So I think coming into this kind of elevation after a taper and a few good rest days shouldn't be any issue. Fingers crossed. Quick update, we're about at the 2-hour mark here, about 10 miles in. So it turns out we did climb almost all of our elevation right out of the gate, about 3,000 feet. We have one more little spike on the profile, and then the last 5 miles are pretty much downhill. So the second half of this pace has been a lot better than the first. We love some downhill. Phew. Final 2 miles. Almost there. Trying to bring the heart rate down right now. We're like a mile out from finishing and I'm just cruising and almost stepped on a big danger noodle. It's like a copperhead just chilling on the right side of the trail. It could have been a timber rattler, I don't know. I saw the design and pattern on his back and the color, and I got lucky, jumped over it, kept going, scared the dickens out of me, I'll tell you that much. You did it.
I'm so irritable, I'm so hot, I'm so thirsty, so grumpy, so angry.
I guess maybe I'm the bad guy in this scenario, but it was fun. We can't deny it was fun. It was hard, but it was one of those training runs that was very needed. It was pretty much a race day simulation, just shorter. So I think we got our bang for our buck on this one.
I think that was really good and built my confidence a lot and how well my legs can recover after climbing basically up for 5 to 6 miles. And I feel like I could keep going if I had water, change clothes, maybe new shoes. So.
Yeah, those shoes are a little cooked. Also, you couldn't really see it because my vest was on the whole time, but a big shout out to Forces. These tech tees meant for this kind of thing. Kept me pretty much dry the whole time. Moisture wicking felt good, breathability super on point. So go check out the site, grab yourself a t-shirt. Oh man. Wow. Well, it has been months since we last saw you. Took a quick hiatus shortly after Kat's crash on the bike.
Oh man, was that our last episode together?
Yeah. So we were in a situation there for a little bit. Her concussion ended up being a little more severe than we thought, and it took quite a bit of time from her running. Ended her year running streak that she was so adamant and passionate about, which was a big bummer, but I think some fruit came from that.
Oh yeah.
A lot of rest days. But yeah, here we are. It is February 3rd. So you've already seen the Everest vlog, and now we're just coming back around to kind of how Cloudsplitter went, because that's what this running vlog was supposed to be all about. We filmed it prior to the race and wanted to lead into it, but got lost in life. So here we are, and we're going to give you just a quick recap of how that went and what we're going into in 2023.
Yeah, girl. Woo!
Kat went on to win her field at Cloudsplitter, took first in the women's 100K, which was insane. I ended up second in the men's 50K, which I was more than stoked about. So as you can see, the running uphill in this episode did have some positive effects, despite how angry Kat was at the end of that run.
It definitely made the Cloudsplitter kind of pale in comparison at some points, I think.
Yeah. What you got out of Cloudsplitter and what you're coming into this year.
I think going into Cloudsplitter, especially through the training, I was really, really intimidated by it. I didn't know if it was something that I could complete. I didn't know if it was something I could complete well, but I dedicated myself to the training of doing my best. I found myself leading the race, the whole race, and I was like, wow, this is insane. And the course was actually way easier than I expected it to be. I don't know if I had it made up to be something that it wasn't in my mind, or that my preparation was just what it needed to be. I was actually surprised by the way that my body moved through the terrain, and it was really, really encouraging. I did have one pretty bad low spot. I think it was between miles 30 to 40. I was in a low section between two mountains. It was kind of a valley, almost like a dried up creek bed, and it was super, super rocky, not runnable terrain, and it was just slow moving and kind of frustrating. And I was starting to get some pretty bad stomach cramps that I couldn't move through too well.
How you doing? Give us an update.
I'm good. That was a really unpleasant 12.5 miles. I had to power hike most of it because my stomach was cramping, and it was lonely, I'm not gonna lie. But we're almost there. You're almost there.
And then it started to rain and get cold, and I didn't have any rain gear, and I started panicking because I was like, oh no, I don't have any rain gear, I'm gonna get hypothermic, I can't move any faster, I've got this huge 12-mile segment, my crew is so far away, I'm in the middle of the woods by myself, and I just started to panic and spiral. But I was really, really happy with the way that I handled that, because that was a big fear of mine going into the race. It's just one, getting lost, and two, something happening to me in the middle of the woods and not having anybody around to help me, which I feel like is kind of a fair fear. Yeah, I was really excited, and I got back to the car and I got to pick up my pacer Helen, and I think I smashed a turkey sandwich with avocado, and it was awesome. And then we headed out through Devil's Bathtub, which was the most technical part of the course. My headlamp died. That was interesting, and it was just so slow moving, and honestly, it's the slowest I moved on the course, but it hurt my legs the most because of having to climb up and lower down off of boulders and stuff. And the only reason I didn't get lost like many other people did was because of my Garmin navigation. But yeah, coming out of that, I was still leading the race, and I was, I think, mile 40 to 50. I was kind of coming out of a low point. I was like, just give me a cookie and some Red Bull, please. And then before I knew it, the woman in second came into the aid station. I was like, no, we're leaving. We're out of here. And Helen paced me again for this next session. Bless her heart, because that's the farthest she'd ever run to the point that we were at. And then I had another 10-mile climb back to the next spot. And it was a straight up climb the whole way out. And I had my jets on full blast. My competitive nature came out in a way that I'd never experienced before, and suddenly my legs and lungs were brand new, and I was just climbing up the hill, and I was like, I refuse to have a foot race after leading the whole race, and I have 25 miles left. I was able to get out of that section ahead, picked up Jason, and we finished the last 9 miles of the course. Mind you, he had already run the 50K, placed second. He should have placed first, but he got lost because the courses were poorly marked. Came back, and then we hauled the last 9 or 8 miles back. And I placed first, like you mentioned. I think my official race time was 18 hours, 45 minutes, something like that. My watch clocked 11,000 feet of gain. Their route had 16,000, so somewhere around there. I think it came 5th overall for the men's and women's field. proud of that effort. I definitely don't feel like I emptied the tank. I think my low points weren't what I was expecting. I was expecting the race to be a lot harder. So in that sense, I don't feel like that expectation was met. But what did happen is it unlocked a whole new level of what I feel like I'm capable of doing. And that's really, really exciting to walk away from that race knowing that there's so much more left. That just tells me that the training that I did put in, the strength work, the cycling, like all of that culminated to put me in a really, really good spot to perform into a race and recover well from it, which is really encouraging because I have a lot more races on the calendar this year. But yeah, Cloudsplitter was awesome. It was a great success. I learned a lot about what I'm capable of. I learned a lot about being consistent moving forward in the woods, even in the low points, and just like had a blast out there. It was so beautiful.
It was really awesome to see her go out there and thrive in that setting and do exactly what she came to do. And we had a heck of a time at Cloudsplitter. It is definitely an event that we would recommend. Go check out the city of Norton. Super cool people. Great little coffee shop. Really fun race. Potentially we'll go back in the future.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other races and things on the calendar for this year for both myself and Kat. However, I'm going to save that for another video as we've already kind of gone over our time. But thank you guys once again for watching these vlogs. Thanks from both of us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya.